Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rivers Lake Yacht Club inaugural podcast with Senor Snappy, the captain of Rivers Lake Yacht Club, Kyle from Bolt Bros podcast. You may know him from there, and the Chargers Truther from Twitter.
Cheers.
From Twitter. And I'm Mervin Cole. I'm a lifelong fan and comedian out here in Los Angeles. Guys, how are we?
Could be better.
In pain. A lot of pain.
I don't even know.
Yeah, that was a tough loss. But I did have a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. That was one of the best turnouts I've seen at SoFi Stadium. And there was a lot of doubters saying, hey, we're pretty much out of the playoffs. Everyone's selling their tickets. Nobody's going to be there. But guess what? We showed up. We gave them hell, And some people are going to say, that was a hell of a performance by Brenden Staley's defense. But I'm going to say, we gave Lamar hell. And we deserve a lot of that credit too. So, but anyway, the loss is difficult. How do you guys deal with losses? Me personally, I win or lose, I have a good time. I don't let it get to me. I don't let it affect me anymore. I feel like it's an event. I have a great time with my bros, drinking. Food can be, a little bit better, but there's some great tacos in Thunder Alley. So
there's always food at the Rivers Lake Yacht Club, but we're not always in Thunder Alley. So the trick is finding us.
Yeah.
If you find us, then
we got the checkered flag now, the big checkered flag with the skull.
Don't tell my wife, but the problem is the flagpole is not long enough. That's why people are not doing it.
Never is.
They got pills for that, man.
They got pills for your flagpole. This thing is aluminum.
Yeah, that's right.
Sell them at 7-Eleven.
Yep. Hey, but that chili you guys got is really good.
Chili?
Yeah, the Rivers Lake chili. It's awesome. It's really good.
I didn't try. There's like a new dish every time you stop by.
Oh yeah.
So let's hear it. How do you guys cope?
Well, I guess I'll go. I just get really fucking mad and I tell all my friends to leave and I don't know, go for a walk or something. I really don't know. I don't even cope with it. I don't think.
Angry. You put up angry tweets on Twitter. Is what you do.
Oh yeah, that's what I do actually. I write angry tweets.
Mm-hmm.
And I be angry pretty much. And it's probably not healthy, but that's what I do.
So I go and listen to Staley's press conference, and I'm always looking for something that gives me a way to understand what happened, to understand if I should feel like it's going to happen again, or if something has changed, there's some extenuating circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I watch him too, but I watch him just to see if he's going to snap at reporters. That's what I watch.
Yeah, I want to see the shit.
Well, yeah, that's what it's become.
Yeah, I like the guy. Listen, it's not that I don't like this guy. I mean, ever since Rivers retired, there was no more players of my age, so I felt like, this guy, youngish guy, is in my age, basically comes in here, a lot of energy, very open, not very closed. Lynn was very closed up. Oh, I'm not going to tell you, McCoy, forget it. That guy was you might as well talk to a fucking wall. It was just, it was.
I feel like they pulled that guy out of an insurance company and onto the field.
Oh gosh, anger is all I felt. Every time I watched his press conference, it was like just hit me in the head. But yeah, so it's one of those things where he was creative, it was exciting, but it didn't work. It's not working out. I mean, this is the bottom line. The defense, save for a handful of performances, have been consistently bad. So it's one of those things where you fire him, and if Dean Spanos wants to save some money, he can appoint himself as head coach for next year, and I'll be fine with that. That'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all
for me,
it's all fucked.
Yeah, obviously, I just kind of embrace the BS. Not meaning Brenden Staley, but the the bullshit, and it's like, well, okay, we just have to deal with it because this is the Chargers for you, But it still hurts a little bit for me. I'm not quite there where Mervin's at. I need to process it a little bit. I just kind of been venting a little bit, just randomly thinking about things. But now, nowadays too, I will take light up the Madden and kind of like actually smoke the team just to kind of make it feel like that we actually got that win. But yeah,
that's a way.
I don't even
for
know.
Sure. So all different ways of coping. I like that. This is great. We're a diverse group. So the next topic I want to get into is there evidence of problems which will not fix themselves? So how do you guys feel about this?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's plenty of problems that won't fix themselves. I mean, I don't know, like just start from the top. I know that there's a lot of people that Rivers Lake was attacked and went to war with on Twitter. But the ownership is a problem that just won't quit. I mean, I'm sorry to say is that truth is the ownership 100% is this problem, because Dean Spanos inherited a team. This is not his passion. It's his bread and butter, but it's not a passion for him. And I feel like it's clear to me that he just doesn't care about the team.
Or he's just incompetent. Like how long do you need to put stuff together? And if you can't freaking figure shit out, then as a man you should step down and let someone else handle it, because you got to accept that you just can't do it, and you're wasting the fans' lives, you're wasting everyone's money and investments and emotions. And what they're doing is they're just greedy, and they just want to, that's their source of family wealth. And like, I can understand it, it'd be hard for anyone to let go of that. But they're really just fucking us all. And that's really all there is to say about that.
Yeah.
I think the Spanoses care about the team. And I also think that we are not grateful enough for how good they have been relative to some of the worst franchises in the league. You have to understand that there are far worse owners. There are far less involved owners, but there are far more meddling owners that really make problems for the team and for the fan base. And I really do think that Spanos is personally invested. I mean, I saw this man at the draft party. We took a photo together, and I feel like I read his soul. And I believe that his soul
I bet him too, by the way.
Behind winning.
Cool.
But I think that he may not know how to do it. Now, you may call that incompetence, but it's really upon the owner to hire the people that can lead you to the promised land. And I don't know how Dean Spanos can go out there and run better routes so that, Herbert can find him in the last play of the game. But I think he would do it if he thought he could.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's just that there is a way of how they go about business. What is it, as far as like coaching hires, that I think rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to find like the next Sean McVay. They're trying to find the next kind of like young stud who can be the coach for a long time, because I feel like the older, grumpier, more established coaches, Norv Turner's, Marty Schottenheimer's, of big personalities, big ego, and something about that I think they don't want to deal with. There's been some reports. Terry Bradshaw, I guess, was on Colin Cowherd's show, The Herd, and said that he asked Sean Payton, like, why don't you just stay one more year, just do broadcasting, and then another, the prime job will open up, the Chargers job will open up. And he said, the sources are telling me that they don't want me. So I'm just gonna take what's available, and I got the itch, and Broncos are willing to pay me, and I'm there. And turns out Sean Payton has doing a good job. Looked out of sorts in the beginning, but now he's come along.
Hey, who can do the best Sean Payton face?
That's pretty. I can't top that.
That's pretty good. I can't top that.
Yeah. I don't know how to do it. I used to be able to do Bill Cowher's chin. I used to be able to do that, but now I can't.
That's good.
Okay, so the Chargers, including Spanos, Tom Telesco, Ed McGuire, Brenden Steele. So the whole fucking front office. Might as well throw JoJo Wooden in there, the pro personnel, or
fire everyone,
pro player personnel, or the scouts.
Why
please wait.
McGuire a pass.
The contract
get them all out.
Anyway, get credit for the problems they have addressed. So the question here is, should they get credit for the problems they have addressed?
Fuck
no.
What?
No. The problem that we need to address is that we have 0 Super Bowl rings. Nothing else matters. That's it.
That is true.
That's all there is.
That is true.
There's only one problem.
That is true, and that helps build, a family. I'm really thankful for the community we have right now. Honestly, I think we've grown quite a bit in the last 2 or 3 years. I remember being at the soccer stadium, going, "What the fuck is this?"
We were better there, though.
I know, and ironically, but as far as like the presence on social media and the amount of people that show up and to events and all this stuff, it's different. It's definitely different now. But in order to continue the growing, because they obviously want to they're just building this brand new practice facility in El Segundo, right by like Top Golf. And if they want to continue bringing more fans in and bringing greater LA in, because there's still a lot of people here, and some have allegiances to other teams from where they were at where they grew up or whatever, but a lot of people are still on the fence. They're kind of like, should I be a Rams fan? Should I be a Raiders fan? Should I be a Chargers fan? So a lot of young people, so they got to get winning, because right now all the pundits, they're right. A rebuilding Rams team is looking better right now than a Chargers team that's supposed to be in the thick of it.
Yeah,
I could tell you why.
Well, I mean, I'll say this though before we get to Truther on your reasons there. I think what the ownership has addressed very well and has been doing better about, and that's actually rebuilding the fan base. Because obviously the move from San Diego probably still stings a lot of fans, and for good reason. Like it hurt for sure to leave San Diego, where they've been there for 50 plus years and stuff. And so, but going into the soccer stadium for a while, like that was a really strange feeling, because there was really hardly any Chargers fans there. I was there, not all the time, but I was there.
Yeah.
But now, like, all the moves that they've made with getting all these splashy, flashy players like, Justin Herbert, Eric Kendricks, Khalil Mack, all these moves that they've done have really helped fans regain hope in the team and want to show up again and watch them play again. And so that has been something that they've addressed that I do feel like they've done a good job at. And they have, I will admit that they do a lot of stuff for the LA community that actually is good, for a lot of things. They have the Impact Fund. They have all these charity events that they put on. And they might not get enough publicity for that stuff, but and so that is a definite benefit to having the Chargers out here as well. I mean, I'm sure the Rams do a lot of that stuff too. So, but growing the fan base back up as much as they have so far has been a huge benefit.
Yeah, I can't argue against that. But how you really build a fan base is by winning, and
yes.
why and then because we can't win, okay, it's good we're doing these other things which gotta get fans like somehow. And obviously we're fans and we're not going anywhere. I'll never go anywhere. But think about why the Raiders have so much fans, because they have a nasty image which people are attracted to. Football is a nasty game where and how we get fans? By getting people that are going to knock some people out, like knock them out cold on the field. That's how we're going to get fans, and I think that's how we're going to win games, by becoming
knock
physical.
People out in the bathrooms and in the stands.
I mean,
that's so funny.
Yeah,
there's always something going on.
Well, if we knocked them out on the field, we wouldn't have to do that.
But I mean, at the same side too, I mean, I get what you're saying there, and like in some of my Raiders fans do send me every once in a while, like where John Madden said in interviews, it's like, yeah, we're a nasty team, we play dirty, what are you gonna do about it, kind of stuff. And and I do it.
Jail. That's what happens. They'll go to jail.
Well, yeah, and that's the truth, is that football is such a different sport nowadays. Like, it's where they'll get fines for doing a whole bunch of different stuff,
I mean, Derwin gets flagged for legal hits. I mean, sometimes he lowers the helmet, but sometimes it's literally just a hard hit, with his shoulder. So, it's a little tough, but I will say this. He does kind of touch on something that I was actually thinking about the other day. And it seems like we're obsessed with high character guys, which is great. You want high character guys, but that doesn't necessarily win you football games. If you have just a team filled with nice guys with like super clean little resumes, that's wonderful. But sometimes you need, a guy who's kind of an asshole You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
sometimes,
right.
I
Or a
remember
team
Nick
of them.
Hardwick once said this. He was like, sometimes you need a guy on the line, or you need a guy on the defensive line, or you need, maybe you need a fucking diva, and at wide receiver or something, some attitude a little,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it delivers that spark. It's
Well, yeah,
it's
you
one
need
of those things.
someone like Terrell Owens or maybe Deion Sanders, that has a bit of swagger, like that, who
Yeah.
wants who believes he's so confident in himself that it's kind of annoying, but it's also like, yeah, he really is that good though,
Right.
So yeah. So I see what you're saying for sure. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everyone wants to work well with people, and I think that is kind of one of those kind of overblown things that I've been looking at, where it's like everything with Tom Telesco is like, yeah, like everything's clean and all this stuff. But is he a champion? Like, is he going to win you football games? It's like and the coaching and all this stuff, and everyone has to be like yada yada and hunky dory and all this, and that's great, and you want everyone to get along, because Jerry Tillery was an ass wipe that didn't work out. He was cut midway season, but he wasn't that good, so it didn't matter. But if he was really good, then you want to keep that guy around and just quarantine him.
Yeah, I just think that our priorities are all wrong, just completely wrong.
What priorities?
Like-
What are you talking about?
The priorities in which we use to build the team, when we're talking about, we need speed, we need to go deep, we need receivers, we need cornerbacks. Like, nah, bro, we need some freaking 250-pound dudes, pure muscle, who are pissed off, nasty, and they fucking hate whoever's on the other field. That's what we need. We need dudes that are gonna freaking, like I said, knock the hell out of the other team, like the Ravens do, like the 49ers do. And that's what people watch football for. People watch football to see violence. And
the Ravens were very physical and very fast on defense,
and they have been, and they always have.
They've always had that reputation, though. Like all those Ray Lewis.
Ray
days.
Lewis kills
Yeah.
people. Who cares?
Steroids.
I mean, yeah.
They got better steroids up there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, deer antler spray, sure, buddy.
Yeah. Have
You
you ever tried that deer antler spray like in a cocktail? It's pretty good. Yeah, no, it's
really?
pretty good. You're
I'm
not
a beer guy,
well.
but maybe one day.
Deer antler spray?
Yeah.
What is that?
It was a thing. He was accused of he came back from injury like super quick, and they thought he was on like HGH or something like
Chargers
that.
truth here. I think you need to hit the gym a little more. You'll know what deer antler spray is all about. They put it in the 24-hour fitness or the LA Fitness in little like push dispensers right by the
hand sanitizer.
Yeah,
the
gotcha.
incline bench and the leg press and the hack squat. They'll have a dispenser. Give it a go.
Nice.
Gotta get
got
down
some
there.
extra testosterone in it.
So here's my thing. Here's my take on nastier players. I'm very much opposed to Chargers truther on this matter. I think that the Chargers are a team of people that we love. We like them personally, and we want to see them succeed. I know everybody here wants to see them succeed. I know you don't think they're going to succeed, and well, they're not succeeding. But that doesn't matter because we like them a lot, and we have an emotional attachment to them. And I think that there still might be a day for them. I go back to what was our championship year? Well, that was 1961. It was Sid Gilman that was taking the team out of Southern California into the desert to practice, and it was putting them on a steroid program that was like nobody had ever seen before, and it was taking every opportunity to get an edge. And I think we're paying for that now, and I think that there is some sensibility in the organization that still is atoning for those sins. That's my take on it.
I only care about wins.
I like that. No, I mean, I like that too, though.
You only care about wins. Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to love the team too?
I want to see a winning team.
I mean, I get what you're saying though. Like, yeah, I mean, we do have likable players. Obviously, you go to the training camp. They're super cool. They're signing autographs for all the kids and stuff. They're very nice people. But still, I feel like you get a couple assholes in there who may not vibe with the team chemistry, but they're freaking amazing. They're good, and they fuck shit up on the football field, that could give you the winning edge. So
yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I wish that Herbert would be doing a little bit more of, is pushing the players to do better. Like kind of like, I mean, to face the facts, like Michael Jordan, like he was always on. His teammates' case. He was always busting their balls and trying to make them better. So, and that's what I would like to see. If there's some kind of asshole on the team that's doing that, that's what I want to see. Because then, like, it's like, look, because he wants to win, and like,
exactly, it's just competitive fire. That's all
right.
It is. I mean, it's nothing personal. And I liked what he with that whole thing with Will Clapp. Yeah, like
yeah, right.
I like the fucking ball.
I would like to have seen Clapp clap back, but he
didn't clap back.
You should have clapped his
yes, sir. Yeah, more like that. It's like, okay, well, that's good.
So, okay, next question, guys. Should the Chargers? Oh, I'm sorry. Fans turning on each other online. Okay, So yeah, let's get to this because this is great.
Yeah.
I don't like attack fans, but I know that I've gone on Twitter my fair share of times, and I've seen quite a lot of people laying into each other, especially the brisket broad girl.
Especially Chargers truther with his red wine there, always attacking everybody after the game. About that.
I never attack brisket broads or I don't really attack people individually unless they come at me first.
Right.
Yeah. I don't name names.
I feel like everybody remembers you saying that we got to fire everybody and everybody else is a fool.
I call out the Chargers like organizational workers, but I don't call out other fans by name.
So the brisket broads are just saying these are people with jobs and families. You don't care about that?
Fuck no.
Well, here's what I got to say to that. Hold on a second.
No.
I just learned that Frank Reich of the Carolina Panthers.
Frank Reich, he's with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, but I know, but my point is, like, he just got fired by David Tepper, their owner, and it was posted online that he was going to be making $25,000 for 3 years, every week for 3 years, $25,000.
That's it. He deserved a lot more than that.
Wait,
I mean, how do you feel bad though? He gets
he's
paid so much
he's getting
money.
fired, or he got fired, and then he's still getting paid that much money.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that shit, man.
Yeah.
Like I'll freaking get me coach a team, and then I'll tank it, and then just like
I mean, they got
those
families,
checks.
but these
Hey.
people are rich, shit.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Chargers truther thinks he can take that job, and they'll just like take him in, and he can coach him up, and they'll win the Super Bowl. That's what I've heard.
If Staley's fired, he's owed like $4 million.
Bro, honestly, I think our GM has been so bad. We can literally use a freaking like AI like generated GM, and we would do much better, I believe.
How would that
I would
even
literally.
work? The Chargers
I
don't
don't
even
even
have
know.
computers.
It is kind of sad though that
they got
fans,
computers from Windows 98 days over there.
You can Madden auto draft and be better.
No, they've got Windows ME over there.
Oh,
the fans though called out the draft pick Quentin Johnston for underachieving because the two players selected after him, Zay Flowers and then Jordan Addison, have been way more productive. And of course, it's well documented that Zay Flowers sealed the deal against us on Sunday night. But I was at the draft party, and you were there too, Senor Snappy.
Yeah.
The fans groaned. Everyone was on the Zay
And you know what they
train.
gave us? They gave us these stress balls.
Yeah. Well, I
didn't think it was like the best sign at the time, but now I realize it was wisdom. The front office has our best interests at heart.
I think I have.
Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah. So back to the AI. I mean, everyone's like, yeah, you're an armchair GM. You
Can't find it.
But we're selecting the right player for in the first round.
I'm an armchair captain. Truther is the armchair GM. So
I mean, I'll fully admit though is that like the draft itself is really a crapshoot, no matter how you look at it. Like look at of all the players across all the drafts that have ever happened, I think it's at best like a 25-30% chance of actually getting an elite player.
Yeah.
Like it's very low, even in the first round, and then after it's like exponentially worse after that. So
we needed explosion. He was explosive in college, and then he just continued being explosive in the NFL. You know what I mean? And it's like, what do we need right now on offense? Explosions, you know? And it's like, are we getting all that yak we were supposed to get from Quentin Johnson? No, not really. I mean, some people are like,
well, a lot of yak, but it's like, it's after the loss, you know, we're yakking in the toilet.
We're yakking online.
Yeah.
You know, we're yakking on a podcast.
Yakety yak.
I told everybody, and everybody saw this. I said we needed a center because I knew goddamn well that Corey Linsley was not going to play a full season. I expected him to play more than 3-4 games, but
he went down last season too, for a couple games. So it's like ugh.
He went. It's almost like what is it? Once you see somebody go down for a few games, it's not often that you see somebody like Keenan have several seasons where they play at least most of the games. Once you start seeing a pattern of not making games, particularly for a lineman, it just snowballs. It's like it gets worse and worse and worse. So I knew that Lindsey was too important and we couldn't rely on him. And we needed to put the top priority in replacing him, getting somebody that could get ready, that had the intelligence to replace him. And we didn't do it. And here we are.
And it just goes to show how incompetent our GM really is, honestly. Like it'll always come back to that, at least in my mind. But I wanted an offensive lineman too in the first round. Even I did a mock draft, my first one. I took a guard in the first round, and everyone hated it. Everyone thought I was crazy.
Year? Now I'm with you. That's a good idea. That's
2023. You took a.
Yeah, I took Osiris Torrance, the O-line, and honestly, and I stand by it right now. And I never wavered. I always would have wanted that. It's just because, like,
does anyone know how Salyer and Johnson are graded out? Because I don't think they've been spectacular this year. But
there's always going to be injuries. There's just always going to be injuries on the O-line. So, like, if you don't have, like, if you're not going to, like, half-ass the O-line, like, don't expect to be a good team, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. With that, let's look at next year's draft. I know it's early. We're 4-7. We can look at next year's draft.
Currently, right now, I think we're the 9th pick overall. If the season ended right now.
Yeah, well, it should. It's put us out of our misery. But but then I wish that right now. But then, you know, like in July or whatever, March or whatever, April, I'm like, where's, you know, Miss Football again? But anyway, so okay. Now, you wanted a guard. I'm going to say we should draft a running back in the first round. And I know that sounds crazy.
This year?
Like, corner. Yeah. No, you need a corner. What are you talking about? No, you need a defensive lineman. I think we need to get a really good running back. And
we have been needing that. We've been needing that for like 5 years now. That's been our top priority.
Austin Eckler's never been a 1,000-yard perennial back. Like, it's always been a all-purpose yard guy, scrimmage yard guy.
Eckler is 5'8". Eckler is 5'8". Why would you ever think that this guy would be an RB1? That's so incompetent. Like, this dude is small. Running back
Lynn made him the RB1, after Gordon.
Telesco made him the RB1.
He held out. And then he signed him, and then they didn't come to terms with Gordon.
It was Telesco's decision.
And now Eckler is acting like Gordon and fumbling the ball at the goal line all the time. Yeah. I don't want either of them.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, I mean, so why would you
a contract?
Yeah.
It's just like, why the fuck is this GM here? Like,
another really great guy. You know, a lot of positive messages on social media, but my God, we're slipping and sliding all over the place and fumbling like crazy right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Eckler's not the only one to blame there. You know, I mean, Keenan Allen dropped some balls too. I mean, obviously Quentin Johnson's dropping balls. Like, they all dropping their balls over there. You know, so like, I mean, they're all growing up. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, I definitely don't think that the right move. I definitely don't think that the right move for this draft would be running back, just because it's not really a running back league anymore. Like, even though it running back is such an important position because you get to control the ball for like so much more, and it opens up the pass plays so much more. So I really think that we need to just find someone in the free agency for running back as opposed to drafting somebody. Like, I want somebody who actually get somebody on their second year or second contract situation, outside of the team. Like, that's what I would like, and pay them good to be there, you know, but someone who's proven that, but they just don't want them anymore at that team. Not someone who's old. Like, don't want someone like, past the age of 25 at all. But so for like the first round, I mean, I'm with Corbin here. We need to go center. We need to replace that center. Like we protect our most expensive asset, Justin Herbert.
Center. Wow. Okay.
If I was in this draft, I'm going first round running back, second round D tackle, third round O line, fourth round freaking D line, O line, D line, O line, D line, O line, D line, O line.
There you go.
That's what I'm doing.
Trenches.
And linebacker. Maybe linebacker.
Middle or edge?
Middle.
All of them now.
Middle.
Yeah.
They're all getting old.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
So
that's my opinion.
So I'm lobbying for Harbaugh for the next coach. I know that's not a typical, Spano signing as far as coaching goes. It's more of a younger coordinator, less expensive, whatever. What do you think? What do you guys think he would do when he came in? Like, what do you think his first move would be? If he were to come in, do you think he would trade away Bosa? Like, what do you think he would do?
He would do something shocking. He would trade away somebody even more shocking than Bosa. Who? I need a minute to think.
Justin
of
Herbert. He's gonna trade. He's gonna trade Justin Herbert.
I don't want him. Yeah, you're fucking touching Slater. Yeah, you're touching Herbert.
I don't think
like the foundations of this. I don't want him.
I think Dean Spanos himself would have to tell him not to trade Herbert. I think that might be it. Actually, I think you might have it.
Everyone else on the table, not Herbert.
I think Harbaugh would do nothing.
You're not on the Harbaugh train?
What makes you say that?
No, I think he would come in here and he would just wait for the draft. That's what I think. But I don't really know. I'm just saying what I like. I don't really follow Harbaugh that much. I know he coached the Niners. He lost a Super Bowl. He had a good defense, very good defense, good team. And then in Michigan, he's successful there. Hasn't won anything though. But honestly, yeah, I don't think he's a very aggressive coach.
Because when he was with the Niners, he had Vic Fangio as DC. So like, would he keep the same scheme or what? I
hope not. I hope not.
I mean, it just seems so complicated for guys. I mean, Mike Davis getting benched. They're putting these undrafted free agent guys in there. Who was it? Daniel Popper was saying that like the guy who was starting was a waiver wire guy at safety. It was Jalen Hawkins. And I was like, he just got signed like 3 weeks ago or something. So
I'd be down for Bill.
Under for Popper's access to the press conference room. The Athletic is owned by New York Times now, where there's some merger that happened earlier in the year. So definitely so prestigious. But what do you think the over/under is in terms of? Let's say I will set the over/under at middle of next season. Popper gets ejected from the
press room.
Yeah,
no, they would eject the coach before they eject Popper.
Just give me an over or an under. Just give me an over or an under. Chargers Truther, what do you think?
Popper has a lifetime contract with the Chargers. He's not going anywhere. He could ask whatever he wants. I bet
he's a real gem. We're kind of spoiled to have him. Actually, he's.
I think he's bringing bad vibes to the team, and he's half the reason we're losing.
Honestly, he's contributing to the rise or the community engagement, the fandom. Really, he's a gem. I mean, his hops with pops. I mean, most of the comments are just people screaming shit, like they're so upset.
His taste in beer is atrocious. He doesn't know.
You should write that in the comments.
Hey,
add to the negativity and then get you banned. He'll ban your ass.
You heard it here first. Hops doesn't know beer.
I just think he's another mainstreamer. So more power to him, though.
Mainstream. I think his takes are actually pretty aligned with yours. I mean, he is anti-Telesco. Is his latest podcast. He had I forget who he collaborated with the podcast, but he was saying, like, they asked him, like, what would you do? And he joked, hey, it's above my pay grade. I would be making millions of dollars if it was my call. But he finally said, hey, the through line is throughout the tenure of all this crazy shit, all the close losses and all the bad shit that's happened in the last 10 years, Tom Telesco, he's been there. So start with him.
Yeah, but that's a very easy thing to say. I mean, now it's obvious, but 5 years, like I've been saying fire Telesco for like since 2019, and like it's easy now. Like, obviously, that guy's got to go. But like, we need more people that are going to be a little bit more critical of this team. And I don't know. I mean, he's critical. We're all critical. Everyone's critical. But I'm just super critical. Maybe I'm just too critical, I think. And
well,
I think someone's got to do it.
Yeah, you want to see the team win too, though. I mean, that's why we all want to see the team win, and obviously that's something that we've, as fans, we haven't experienced, like those dynasty years that the Patriots had for the last 20 years, and now they're starting to feel like we felt basically our whole lives. I mean, of course, like let's not forget too, though, before Tom Brady, the Patriots were a dumpster fire team as well. So but after they got Tom Brady and the Bill Belichick combination, they were amazing. So that's
I would say they're more of a tire fire. They actually did provide some entertainment value, but they became a dumpster fire recently, which means we're still going to find a way to lose to them next week.
But even then, with the Patriots, they had a Super Bowl run with Drew Bledsoe.
They got
they were beat by Brett Favre, in '96 or whatever, '97. I can't remember.
Yeah, they were on the rise, before that. Yeah, so
Drew Bledsoe was a saint.
Bill Parcells, by the way, with coached that team. But it was Brady that replaced Bledsoe. He got injured.
Mm-hmm.
So we could say that perhaps it wasn't Belichick, but really Parcells that created the dynasty for the Patriots.
Oh no, well, I mean, Bill Belichick did draft Tom Brady in that 6th round. He was, there.
Dragging his feet last minute.
Right? pretty much.
Yeah.
I think I watched the documentary about it, and Bill Belichick did kind of see, he was like, Tom Brady's still there in the 6th round and stuff like that. So, and he had his eye on him the whole time. And so he just kept seeing him drop, and he's like, all right, I guess I'll just let him just kind of wait for a little bit. So, there was something there that Belichick did see in him that no one else did.
Yeah.
So
I just think it goes to the point where, if you want a successful team, first of all, you need a quarterback, obviously, right? And we have a quarterback. Second of all, you need a good organization, with good leaders who know how to build a good roster, which I don't think we have a good roster, and just can't accept anything less but the best, and I feel like we've been accepting it for too long. So, but the Patriots in their dynasty had Tom Brady, had very good team all around. Maybe they don't have stars, but you don't really need stars. You just need a solid, rock solid 53-man roster, good leader, good vision. And
they didn't really have a lot of holes. They always had like good linebackers, good corners, good safeties, good like stars on the defensive line. But not everyone was a star. They were just kind of like great role players and some good depth, good special teams. Thankfully that's something we have now. Which
first time in history.
Yeah, which was plagued the Anthony Lynn era. But yeah, that's one good thing we have. All right, next question here. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Are the Chargers running into the typical super team problem?
What's that problem?
I don't know.
Well, I kind of know what you're kind of getting at. It's the problem that that you have too many.
I didn't write this question. This was submitted.
It's a good question. So it's too many questions or too many players that are like supposedly amazing and they get all this kind of press and they just really just aren't performing or whatever. Like in the show, they get all this hype, but they're just maybe they have too many opinions of things and they've been there too much. Maybe they're not hungry enough anymore because some of them may have already had some level of success. Like just thinking about JC Jackson, he's already had a couple championships and, really he just wanted to get paid at that point. And so he basically stole a bag of money from us and then ran off and is not even playing anymore, So, I mean, I think honestly, like I did watch another documentary about the Chargers where we actually did do something like this before in the 70s. I'm not, obviously you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that there was a time that we picked up a couple like really big players and paid them a lot of money and they just wet the bed as well. But not as many players as this one was. I think
it certainly started with Johnny Unitas.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I take this question to be, can you have too many people that are looking out for themselves and are not making the sacrifices necessary to create a functional team. Because as Mervin mentioned, the Patriots during their dynasty period had a lot of solid players, didn't have any holes, but they didn't have a lot of names. And I think there is some value to that, where you have maybe a playmaker, a couple of playmakers on both sides of the ball, and maybe that's what you need. And maybe you have everybody else that is committed to blocking, like other wide receivers that are committed to blocking. You have
look at our teams. Remember when we had success in the 2000s, right?
Mhm.
You had obvious Pro Bowler in Sean Merriman, right? You had obvious Pro Bowler in Jamal Williams. But then the rest of the guys were just solid contributors. Randall Godfrey, solid linebacker, hard-hitting linebacker, veteran.
What about Sean Phillips?
Yeah, Sean Phillips, incredible pass rusher.
So what I've heard is that
Donnie Edwards,
Well, Donnie Edwards was an All-Pro.
Oh, that's right. He was an All-Pro. Yeah, we were pretty stacked at that point. Yeah, but
that was an incredible year. I think we had like 10 players go to the Pro Bowl.
Was also very good.
Yeah.
Was that AJ Smith?
That was.
Well,
Yes.
and Butler before Butler died. I think that Butler died because of the Chargers' sins, but that's another point for another podcast.
And
That's
he
the
was
next
a smoker.
Oh.
That could not have been it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I think about that question is that, like, I would rather have, like average good roster everywhere than like a couple of great players and then a couple of, and then many more very below average players, which I think is what we have. And, the great players cannot carry the whole roster of, below average. And it's like a group project when you'd rather be on a group where everyone is just like kind of smart or whatever. But you all work together very hard, rather than like one or two brilliant people and then like some lazy slackers or whatever, and I really think that is how the Chargers are now.
Yeah. Okay. Is social media affecting the on-field product? That's the next question.
One last thought on the other one though. So I think the biggest problem is that we're using players in the wrong way. The biggest thing is that Derwin James is basically like Brandon Staley has this kind of man crush on him where he believes that he can be all over the field at all times in all places, and he puts him and he lets him do whatever he wants on the field, and so it becomes a kind of a who's on first, what's on second, I don't know, who's on third base kind of situation where he's like a player will think that he's supposed to be over here, but he actually goes over there and then covers this side not and the other side, and so they just leave something open, so he's doing too much and he's not able to kind of focus on exactly what he's supposed to do that play or that snap because he's thinking about all these different things at once, and so there's just too much going on. So and I think that might be the case with a lot of the other players, and that's also why Brandon Staley's defensive scheme is not working because it's too complicated for the players to figure it all out.
I have 2 points to that. Like, the first point is obviously the biggest example of that is Austin Eckler. This guy is a scat back. He's not a power back. So why are we using him as a power back? So that's my first point. And the second point you're talking about, I kind of disagree also. You're talking about Brandon Staley is using these players wrong, But I think a bigger issue is that the players around them just aren't good enough. So Brandon Staley can't use them, It's just like Josh Kelly. Okay, he's supposed to be better, but he's getting carries. He's not, he did have a good game against the Chiefs, but he's just not. He's not what we need. We need more. And what are you gonna do when you have a roster that's not good enough? Your hands are kind of tied, and that's, I think, what's happened to all of our coaches. Not taking the blame off of them all. They obviously deserve blame too. But again, when your roster is not good enough, what are you gonna do? You're kind of screwed. So I think Brandon Staley has a bad roster also, and I think and it's shown, and we're just relying on Herbert, and it's caught up with us. And
so it sounds like we can agree that Staley should stay, and maybe Telesco or McGuire should move on.
Maybe I just want Telesco gone, but honestly, at this point, I think I maybe I would let Staley stay actually. And I know like I'm like in the 1% of people that think that, but I think it's time to blow this thing up and just fire literally every desk worker in the Chargers, and just reevaluate this thing, because we've been on some bullshit for like the whole decade,
You sound like somebody that watches the games from your TV instead of showing up to the stadium, because we are still competitive at the stadium, and I don't want to have that bad year after blowing everything up, where I go to every game knowing we're going to lose and expecting
like a rebuilding year, like what the Rams are supposed to be doing this year, but they seem to be rattling off a few more wins than expected.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this though. Unfortunately, I think next year is going to be a rebuilding year, anyways, because a lot of players that we love and cherish are probably going to be gone.
You guys talking about protecting Herbert and not wasting Herbert's time. Making a rebuilding year happen is going to waste Herbert's career.
True.
That's
but listen,
good.
bro. Honestly, it really cannot get any worse than what we are right now. It can
way worse. It can get way worse. It can get at least 3 games worse than what we're experiencing.
That's
right
true.
now.
That is true.
We have Justin Herbert. We have one of the best quarterbacks of all time. We're not gonna. This is pretty much as bad as we can get.
But the Detroit Lions had Megatron, and they couldn't get a win. So I mean, we could see that. We could see those days. If there is not a good replacement, we can't blow everything up if there's not a better option to go to.
I understand your concerns, but honestly, we've been waiting for a long time, and at some point you got to pull the plug, I think, and at least on the GM, at least at the very bare minimum, fire the general manager, change it. Okay, fine, I'll accept that. That's cool with me.
I mean, look, if we stockpile picks, you trade someone, one of our stars, right? Maybe one of the wide receivers, maybe one of the edge rushers. Who knows? I don't know. But, I feel like they have some trade value. I know a couple of guys are coming off injury, but, I'm sure they could fetch at least second-round pick or something like that, right? I mean, that's
the hope. What would Keenan get us?
I really would not want to trade Keenan Allen.
You have to do it. We got to blow everything up.
I mean, that personally, I would not want to. I would understand it, but I would be against it. I would accept it, but I would say, he just does so much, and it's funny because he just doesn't need to be fast. He just wiggles his way open.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else thinks that they can suck because Keenan's always going to get open.
Yeah, I mean, shit, looks like it. Or ride the bench, But what I would say if I was running the team, Keenan Allen from me gets a lifetime contract. This dude can still get on the roster at 40. He could be 40, he could be 50 years old, and he'll be on the practice squad. I don't care.
Well, the way, unfortunately, the way that the Chargers is that the last couple of years they let them go. The greatest players that we have, we give them off to somebody else for the last couple of years, just like we did with LT, just like we did with Rivers, and God knows how many other players. Yeah, Kyle Van Noy. Well, he was bouncing around a lot of teams, so it's probably going to happen.
Keenan still has it though. I mean, at least when when LT was getting up there, which I disagreed. I thought he should have gotten another year.
Right.
I feel like Keenan, he's probably gonna have 1,400 yards this season. I mean, he's got another 1,000-yard season. He's
crushing it. Yeah,
easily in him. I probably won't get as many targets because obviously Mike Williams out, Josh Palmer's out. Mm-hmm. They don't really trust Quentin Johnston. They don't use Derius Davis in the passing game at all. They'd rather throw it to Alex Erickson. So I would be against it, but I guess you fetch a second-round pick and you hope maybe someone's able to get this contract off of our, payroll. I think Joey Bosa's owed $36 million next season. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He was productive when he was on the field. 6.5 sacks, that's not nothing, but it wasn't like he was dominant.
Yeah.
So I choke on that Raisin Bran, and then we won't owe him anything, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know who would take that. Who would take that on? I mean, would the Niners or someone would be like, okay, you know what?
Oh, they would
reunite him with his brother.
Oh yeah,
the Bosa Bros.
Make a star out of him again. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It'd be,
they would.
They're not paying the quarterback. Take our guy.
Yeah,
I love Joey. By the way, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a really funny character. you know?
Yeah. I love that he speaks his mind about a lot of things and stuff like that. You know, that's great. That's great to see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so
this
you
isn't like a slight on Joey. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking like mathematically with like contracts and stuff for next season, because we have like $40 million, you know, over the cap.
I don't think Joey Bosa is the problem. I think it's like everyone around that just sucks, you know? Yeah.
Morgan Fox.
Fox,
I mean,
is
he's all right.
Fox has been solid.
But this is like, is
Johnson.
okay good enough? I mean, is that good enough? I don't know.
Well, I mean, so to Truther's point though, like, I mean, I tend to agree with him though on the fact that like I don't like having just like a whole bunch of superstars that you're paying like, you know, over $30 million a year on whatever, when we could easily, you know, trade them off, whatever, maybe get like, we can pay 2 players $15 million a year that are actually really like good players that are rising up and like, you know, they're proven as well. Like, let's say in the Madden ratings, instead of having above 90 players, like just a few of those, you have like, you know, mid 80 players or like, you know, low 80 players like that are like just that are really good, but they're not like elite tier, because you know that you have actually players that are actually hungry and they're just really good players and stuff like that. So like, and
I just don't see how you don't get to the Super Bowl with a roster full of talented players. I think that it must be Ed McGuire.
He's the contract guy, though. He just does, you know, the numbers. I don't think
he has been floating under the radar this whole time. He is
right.
He's like deep state Chargers, man.
Yeah, he's deep state
Chargers. Yeah, that's right.
I'll take your side. I'd fire him.
There you go.
I'd fire him now.
Well, I mean, I mean,
a lot of these guys are like interconnected, though. They go to each other's weddings. Like, they have their kids over and stuff. They play frisbee.
That's the problem.
They're all best friends.
I know.
That's the problem. That's the weeds that we need to yank out. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's probably why Telesco still has a job. I mean, you know, two playoff wins in what 10, 11 years.
Right.
You know, Tom Papa was talking about it today or whatever.
With Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Exactly.
With Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah. And so that's my, you know, conclusion is it's some sort of deep rooted relationship where, you know, they have such a good working. They're such high character guys. We win the high character Super Bowl every year, you know, but that doesn't.
We don't even win that. We should get the Walter Payton Man of the Year every single year.
But we don't win that every year. Yeah.
We don't win that every year. We haven't even gotten that.
Fans forget that.
Yeah. High character, man. It's good stuff. But
yeah,
how many Super Bowl wins do we get from that?
On the on our show, we actually call Tom Telesco the water cooler guy, who actually goes up to John Spanos and laughs at all his jokes and kind of like, you know, just kind of like is a yes man to him. So that's why he secures his job, you know, like it's like, oh boy, this guy again.
I'd go a step further and call that man spineless.
Possible. It's possible too.
Spineless. How can you say that? What are you talking about?
He sucks.
What are you talking about? Spineless.
This dude, if he went to the chiropractor, I'm pretty sure the doctor would be like, honestly, you don't even have a spine. Like, what do you want me to do?
Okay, let's keep it moving. Is social media affecting the on-field product?
No way. I don't see how anybody could correlate these two things. What are you even talking about?
So in one of the interviews, because I watched, I don't know how many. I'm obsessed with the goddamn Chargers, but I probably seen like 1,000 of these freaking pressers and interviews, and one of them, Salyer said that he doesn't keep up with social media, but his wife does, and keeps tabs on it and then reports back to him. So he knows that what you're saying about he knows.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean,
he knows.
I think she probably filters it enough. I think because the same thing happens for Herbert too. Like they have people, they don't really focus on the social media, but like they have people that would tell them like what's important, like that, So,
but when the diarrhea becomes, everyone saying the same shit, it's amplified, retweet, So it's hard to miss, and then it becomes, accounts that aren't just like burners. You got actual like reporters and things of that nature, guys on ESPN spout. I just think that
if we're talking about does the social media affect the team, like, look, if we're winning and we're doing good, then honestly, yeah, make all the jokes you want. But, if you're losing, what the fuck is funny? What is funny? Like, why are you guys laughing? Like, this is not funny, Like, I don't get your fucking camera out of my face. I don't want to be on your TikTok. My leg's fucking almost broken. My head's ringing. We just lost. We have no playoff hopes. Like, what's funny? Tell me.
Are you blaming the Jaguars' loss last year on the social media team?
No, I'm just saying everything's related. There's like a lot of factors. There's like, it's deep. This goes deep. It's just like if you lose, don't even smile. Like, why? I mean, I get it. The players can, like, they're the soldiers, but like, they're the soldiers. I will never disrespect the players, really. But at the end of the day, it's like, whatever. But like, when we lose, don't come in with the social media team into the locker room. Like, that's not the vibes, It's
so post game losses? They're making jokes I'm trying to follow what you're saying.
I don't know, like during the week, in practice.
Oh, how they they make like memes and stuff like that during the week, and they're trying to be.
I'm probably stepping way too far here, but
like the actual in-house social media, like the Chargers social media team, you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, let's kind of try and focus more on like winning games and shit, and that's it. Like, I'd be like, yo, no more fucking TikToks until we start winning like 2 games, 3 games. We get to 500. Once we get to 500, all right, we can make a couple of TikToks here and there. We get to like 2 games up winning. We get to 3 games up winning. All right, TikToks, it's a go. Like, TikToks is cool. But when you're 4-7, don't make no TikToks,
Yeah. Well, I get it. You're a passionate fan. I get it. They have to continue to make, they have a job to do. They have to do engagement. They have to do engagement. I understand what they're doing.
I get it.
And at the same time, and it's not like the players it's not their personal TikToks that they're doing, they're not taking away time, from themselves. I mean, obviously we all know that it takes time to do all this stuff, it's people from the team that are doing things. So they're like the players aren't doing little dance or whatever, No,
and I'm not blaming the players. I'm not blaming the social media team. I'm blaming the people that are giving the social media team the go ahead. Like, who's making those decisions? Like, up top, like the owners. It seems like it. It seems like something he would do. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not 100% against it. You have to like keep morale up. You have to keep doing them all ins. You have to, keep the train rolling.
I can see that.
I'm not that against it, but I understand what you're saying. I don't know if I'd want like radio silence until the next win, but definitely maybe, bring it down a notch, I guess. But lately I've just been seeing kind of like, past players being inducted to Hall of Fame. I mean, that's
sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I want to see them dunk on every player and misdeed by a coach or a owner or a fan. I want to see all of it. I want to see the social media team dunk on everybody until they are so embarrassed that they quit in shame because we're not winning these games. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to dunk on people, bring more fans to the fan base, and they are going to make the Chargers will themselves to victory. We only need to win the next 7 games. I don't know if you guys looked at the schedule. We only have to win the next 7 games in order to get a 10-7 record, which I think likely qualifies us for the playoffs.
Well, we have 6 games left.
6 games, So,
but if we won 7, you would agree that we would.
That would mean that we won the first wild card.
That means that we won the wild card at least.
But listen,
I hope you see it my way
now. No, never mind. I forgot what I was going to fucking say. I was going to add on to that.
It was so brilliant. You could.
I do have a thought.
Yes.
No, so like we're being real on this podcast,
Extra
real.
Like
Yacht Club. We're very
real.
We're very real.
Hyper real.
But I will credit the social media team for turning around the Chargers Weekly podcast, because that was just kind of like, propaganda at first. And then it became very real. They brought in Matt Money Smith, and he doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
Even Chris Hayre. I mean, these people are very real. This is
Chris Hayre is way too negative. They're gonna fire that man.
No way.
Way too negative.
You're being sarcastic, right?
No, I'm just calling it.
Is that your real take?
No, let's calling it how I see it. He's got to support the team because he is paid by the team. He needs to bring fans. So Chris Hayre.
Oh, he's bringing fans by being real. They're both being real. I mean, yeah, they highlight the positives. Of course.
Is walking.
It's not an hour hate fest. You know,
he is walking a fine line.
No, but when they win, they talk them up. But when they lose, you know, they talk about the issues on the team, and it's very engaging. And I think you know, well, just you know, going back to what he was saying about social media. I mean, if you watch that, then you would see that like it's not just you know a bunch of funny memes. Like they're really digging into it. You know.
Yeah. Does Matt Money Smith ever mention Tom Telesco? Because I feel like a lot of people like forget to mention him.
I think they focus on players like and playmaking and coaches, you know.
Yeah, I mean they do kind of, you know, touch on it like, you know, I mean these are the guys being brought in, you know. So it's not
I wonder if he's mentioned Rivers Lake because he definitely knows about it. I've spoken to him about it at length. We've talked about surfing it. So I know that he knows. So I'm just wondering maybe holding back on mentioning Rivers Lake is negatively impacting the team because, you know, if you hide reality, have you ever heard of that bringing positive consequences to a group effort, much less an individual adventure? No.
True.
So this is the next question here. Is SoCal the problem itself?
No, I don't think so.
Nah, definitely not.
Rams won it. Rams won it.
Rams won it. You know, the Lakers win it. You know, Dodgers win it. You know, like you know, the Galaxy won it. The LAFC won it. You know, so like
yes.
Know,
what about
Kings won it?
What is it? Who submitted this question? Like what are they trying to say? The fans? Because sometimes the fans are you know kind of flaky, kind of laid back, and you know
or maybe it's saturated.
You know, I'll say
kind of casual about it.
Yeah, I mean there is definitely that there's a lot of just you know fair weather fans here in LA. Like no one cares unless you win in this city for sure.
Fortunately, it's always fair weather.
Yeah, all right, it's very fair weather here, you know. So, but I'll say,
are you blaming the Chargers' losses on El Nino?
No, not El Nino, but I'm actually blaming it on the fact that there's two teams of every sport in this city. Like if you look at all the history of all like the different teams that have like you know shared a city with another team, one of those teams wins, the other one's is always in the gutter, and that could be the problem itself. It's just that like you know maybe what Gabe was saying is that it's saturated, you know, like, I mean, there's not enough focus on just one team, you know, like that's kind of the way it is. Like, dude, you have one team that either does very well or either very bad. And unfortunately, the Chargers, like in the Lakers and the Ducks and the Angels, you know, they always get the short end of the stick, you know. This is true with the Giants and the Jets, you know, to think the other team that off the top of my head. So, so that is part of it. It's maybe it's not
a little concerning.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt, but it is a little concerning that the Rams did win a damn Super Bowl, and then the following season they had a lot of 49ers fans. You know, they had a lot of like takeovers, and I was kind of like, I know there's a lot of ticket brokers. Like I understand that because I'm a season ticket holder myself, and I understand that you know the row, you know, 2 rows down from me, it's always different fucking fans every game. So that person, you know, is obviously some you know side hustle bullshit going on that he has. But you know, it's I know there's that, but I wonder too is you know this question does pose you know some legitimacy here because could be some just flighty fair weather you know fans here.
I think a big thing is just that a lot of people want to come to LA and to the SoFi Stadium to see their team. You know, if they're wherever, if they're from East Coast, Midwest, Northwest, whatever. Northwest, the Northwest, whatever. Everyone wants to come to LA, so you're always gonna get a lot of away fans, and you know you gotta build up your home fans, and the biggest way to do that is just by winning. And you know it's easier said than done. Easier said than done for sure.
Sustained
it's not easy
success.
to win.
Sustained success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that, though.
I mean, and there would be some other like to go back to your point there, Mervin, is that there would be some truth to the fact that SoCal itself could be a bit of a problem because it's too damn expensive here. Rent is so high. Our gas prices are so high. Electricity bills are so high, and so people have to they're using like the sports tickets or whatever to sell it. I found a
side hustle. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a side hustle.
It's basically Uber for them or something. Yeah,
exactly. Because I met a guy too who has season tickets for literally every team and every sport in LA, and he sells the tickets all the time. That's like part of it's a part-time job for him. And after he sells maybe a few of them, and he has sports for free. But you're right. It's like we're just constantly selling it and just. Yeah, right. So it's and this is obviously a transplant city too. So people come from all over to here, and especially trying to get away from the cold ass winter East Coast and Northeast, all that stuff, So
and to be fair, they do that in Vegas too. So I've seen takeovers there as well.
Yes.
And not every fan in LA wants to go drive out to Vegas 6 hours. San Diego, we still have a lot of those fans. They come up, but it's not 6 hours.
Right.
Well, and what they do is that they lose their money on the first venture out there, and then they can't go back for a few years. So that works out great.
Okay, last question. So what's the consensus here? Is SoCal the problem, or is it an obstacle? No.
I mean, say it is because
I'm kind of split
because
it's gray area.
Sent the team to practice out in Arizona because he was concerned about the distractions of LA. And that was back in the early 60s. This is back in Pax Americana, back when people were way more close to the vest, even in LA. LA was still a party city, but it wasn't like it is now. And Sid Gilman thought that it was too much of a distraction to have his team practice and spend too much time here when they were trying to get ready for a season. Now, that was back then. He didn't continue that as far as I know. And so Chargers have always been sort of looking like a distracted team ever since. They've had some runs, but then they've looked distracted half the time. So I do wonder if
they all kind of live in Orange County, though. They're not exactly in Hollywood or something. They're kind of in the suburbs of, Costa Mesa and Tustin. And
I don't know what Hollywood parties you're going to, but the ones that I go to have lots of Chargers players that are spending way too much of their time.
Are they driving up? I don't know. I've never encountered any out in the wild, I guess, in LA.
Just look for the big dudes. And you'll know that they're probably NFL players. Yeah. Okay. The really big ones. The really, really big ones. And if you're not sure, just get up a little closer.
Oh, believe me, I stood next to Tito Obonia at the
you know how he got his name, Obonia?
He'll break my bones. Yeah. I don't know.
It was his father's name. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was his father's name?
Well, obviously. What was I saying?
Tito makes sense. He was from UCLA, so his folks probably still live up here, so he's probably up here all the time.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's just reinforcing the fact that, football players are massive. They're really big dudes. And I stood next to him and I looked like I definitely looked tiny next to him for sure.
You looked like a bull bro next to him. Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I felt pretty small next to him too, but
next year that could be a problem though. They're moving in that brand new, El Segundo facility.
You think they're
going to be a lot closer to downtown Hollywood and all the.
They got a Raising Cane's in there at the Chargers Pavilion.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to not be a heavier team next year. Bill Parcells once said, if I have to choose between a big player and a fast player, I always pick the big player because the fast player gets slower as the season drags on, but the big player is always big.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I think the Raising Cane's might be a reason for optimism for the next season.
I'd rather have some big boys than some skinny boys.
Butt and gut, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
For sure. I think that's what we need.
I think we can agree on that, except for Mervin.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Thank you guys for all joining us on the first episode of Rivers Lake's official, or Rivers Lake Yacht Club official podcast. I'm Mervin Cole. That's Senor Snappy. That's Chargers Truther right there. And Kyle from the Bolt Bros. Thank you guys for joining us again.
Cheers.
Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. And we got some fun stuff coming up. Actually, we got Chargers
We're just getting
Jeopardy.
started.
Yeah, Chargers Jeopardy. That's gonna be a great time.
That'll be fun. That'll be real fun.
Yeah. Okay. Have a good night, guys. Bolt up.
Good night.
Cheers.
Hold up.
Bolt up.